What if I told you that there are 5 simple words that could be your escape hatch to freedom the next time that you're drowning in frustration, annoyance, or anger? That these 5 words could break the chains of procrastination that bind you, not because you're lazy, but perhaps because you're terrified of failing. In fact, I could list a whole range of challenges that one might be facing, like feeling trapped in a job, or in a relationship, or the lack of a relationship, or lack of money, a health issue, or some other situation in life. Issues that leave you feeling ultimately constrained, trapped, and generally disempowered. In this video, I'm about to reveal something truly remarkable. Just 5 words. That's right. 5 simple yet unbelievably potent words that have the power to transport you from feeling trapped to reveling in exhilarating freedom. You know, I'm someone who values freedom above anything else. So over more than 3 decades, I've done a lot of study and given a lot of thought to what it means to be free. So much so that I've written not just 1, but 3 books about my own journey of creating personal freedom. In fact, that's the essence of my books, the Karma and Diamonds trilogy. In sharing my life's journey, I've illustrated how you can free yourself from the constraints of the past, even from past lives, and anything else that keeps you limited so that you can create a fresh future that is free from the limitations of that past. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of freedom where you choose what to have for breakfast or even who you marry, but a type of freedom that transcends all of that inner freedom. This is a freedom that makes everything else possible in your life. It's the kind of freedom that is the foundation for creating, attracting, or manifesting a life that you love, a life of conscious choice. But what exactly is freedom? Well, there are different kinds of freedom. In the Oxford Dictionary, the overarching definition of freedom is given as the state or fact of being free from servitude, constraint, inhibition, etc. And amongst its definitions, freedom is said to be liberation from bondage of dominating influences such as religion, state, foreign powers, and so on. And these are valid definitions of freedom from a purely worldly perspective. So far, I've touched upon 2 types of freedom, the freedom from something and the freedom to something. But I want to dig a little bit deeper into what true freedom is. Freedom that is not subject to outer influences. And that's the 3rd type of freedom, the freedom to be. The freedom to be your true self. So then, to get there, it's useful to understand what inner-based freedom is not. Osho, the giant mystic philosopher from India, was clear about what freedom is not. He said, the freedom from something is not true freedom. The freedom to do anything that you want is not freedom either, because the wanting, desiring to do something or to have something arises out of your mind, and your mind is your bondage. He also said, don't connect freedom with independence, because independence is naturally from something or from somebody. Don't connect freedom with doing things that you want to do, because that is your mind, not you. Wanting to do something, desiring to do something has you in bondage of wanting or you're desiring. So then, what is real freedom, and how do we experience that sort of freedom from within while still living a worldly life? I recently came across a teaching, a philosophy that just blew my mind, and I want to share it with you. It comes from an Indian spiritual teacher whose teachings I first studied some 3 decades ago, a renowned philosopher called J. Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti famously said, "Truth is a pathless land." He encouraged us not to follow any set beliefs, teachers, gurus, or even himself. He was a proponent of Osho's philosophy on choiceless awareness, which is the state of being fully aware and in the moment, naturally, without forcing it or wanting things to be a certain way. He taught about exploring our minds deeply and breaking free from all the rules and ideas that we've been taught by religion, society, and culture. He once said, "There's no teacher, no pupil. There's no leader. There's no guru. There's no master, no savior. You yourself are the teacher and the pupil. You are the master. You are the guru. You're the leader. You are everything." Imagine that. What he meant was that we've got everything that we need right inside of us. But to enable that, we have to be able to go beyond our conditioned reality. Krishnamurti talked about creating a mind free of clutter from the past conditioning, or more specifically, any aspects of your past conditioning that keep you from seeing things clearly so that you could discern with a razor-sharp intellect the reality of who you are beyond your identity, what the reality of life and the universe is. When he turned 90, just as he'd been diagnosed with cancer and given a month to live, he said something really mind-blowing. In one of his last lectures, out of the blue, he asked his students, "Do you want to know my secret?" Now the room fell silent and people sat at the edge of their chairs like, what is he going to say now? He said, "This is my secret. I do not mind what happens." The pin drop silence in the room was palpable. I don't mind what happens. Just let that sink in for a moment. I don't mind what happens. What? You mean I don't have to care about anything? Not bother with anything? No, not at all. It's not about not caring. Rather, it's about being okay with whatever comes your way, success, failure, riches, or nothing at all. It's like saying, "Bring it on, life. I'm ready for you, no matter what you throw my way." I don't mind what happens gives you an immediate access to not being attached. Not being attached gives you freedom. Freedom is about peace. I recently heard the brilliant marketing expert Daniel Priestley say it another way in relationship to marketing and business. He calls it with or without attitude. If you want someone to do something for you, you can ask them to help, but you have to do it from the attitude of being free from within, not from neediness. If they say yes, all well and good. If they say no, move on to the next task. It's the attitude of whatever the outcomes, I'm free to be. I'm going to make it with or without you, with this or without this. It's the same when you're asking life and the universe to deliver a set of circumstances to you that you'd love to have in your life. Being attached in love, business, and in any other area of life breeds disempowerment when you don't get what you want. It can even be completely disabling that it can have you give up on what you want. This paradox reminds me of what Marcus Aurelius said, "Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own," for what could be more fitting? The paradox is that on the one hand, we're here to create and experience the world and our own inner being and live life to fullness. But on the other hand, we have to develop the muscle to be able to do so without being needy, without relying on our outer circumstances to define our true worth and what's possible for us. In other words, by embracing the being of detachment. I'm a committed stand for creating X, Y, or Z, and I'm not attached to what happens. It's about riding the waves of life, just like water, soft and flexible, yet powerful enough to carve canyons over time. Now you might be wondering, how do we actually live life like this? How do we do it? Does that mean that we just sit back and let life happen? Not exactly. There's this beautiful wisdom from chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita that I've shared many times before, and it goes something like this. When Krishna is mentoring the mighty warrior Arjun, who's having a mega crisis of conscience right in the middle of the battlefield, Krishna tells Arjun, "Perform your duty equiposed, Arjun, abandoning all attachment to success and failure. Such equanimity is called yoga." It's like saying, do your thing, put your heart and soul into it, but don't stress about the outcome. It's about enjoying the doing, being absorbed in the process, not just the outcome. And here's the other thing. We're so conditioned to chase after stuff, right? Grades, jobs, houses, name, fame, wealth, you name it. But what if we shifted our focus? What if the doing became the reward in and of itself? Imagine giving yourself so fully to what you're doing, so much that success or failure does not feature in your paradigm. That's what true mastery is all about. Epictetus, the Greek philosopher, had it right when he said, "Demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they happen, and you will go on well." And that, my friends, is the simple yet powerful access to feeling freedom. Inner freedom that lets you walk the precipice of creating a fabulous life, not putting up resistance when things don't go your way, and accepting them with just as much equanimity as when they do. That's the access to having inner peace and freedom. Krishnamurti was spot on too when he said, "Do right for the sake of right, work for the sake of work, Give yourself to the service of the world because you love it. In today's world, you might say, follow your passion. Do what lights you up regardless of whether anyone's watching or what you get out of it. Some 5,000 years ago, in the day of Krishna and Arjuna, they would have said, be of service to others. Either way, when we talk about I don't mind what happens, it's not about giving up or not caring. It's about giving yourself to life in such a big, bold way that the ups and downs of life don't shake you. You're in it for the love of the ride, not just the destination. You're in it to serve, not just of what people think of you and what life can do for you. You're in it to experience something deeper about yourself, to reveal who you are beyond your identity. And that's the kind of freedom that I'm talking about. Being so in love with life, so in tune with what you're doing that nothing else matters. It's about being loving, giving and living life so fully right here, right now, because that's what it means to be truly free from the inside out and the outside in. Next time you feel frustrated and stressed because life isn't giving you what you'd like, tell yourself these words: I don't mind what happens, and see what happens. I suspect that what will emerge is something that Osho told us. He said, true freedom is to be yourself, free of conditioning, where you simply are in utter silence, serenity, beauty, and bliss. And here's something that is just awe-inspiring, something that George Bernard Shaw said, and that I believe is his expression of what true personal freedom is. This is the true joy in life, he said, being used for a purpose, recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I'm of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I'm alive, it's my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of a splendid torch that I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. So what I've shared with you today serves to create a profound shift in perspective, moving from a place of resistance and attachment to results and outcomes to a state of allowing and active engagement with life as it unfolds, to be of service. So, what do you say? Let me know in the comments how this resonates with you. I hope you got value from this video. If you have, please do remember to hit the like button. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference, bigger than you may know. Your liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel helps YouTube's algorithms to show my videos to others who are really looking for this sort of content. And I really appreciate it too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.